Hi there. I'm Danny Gregory, and this is the live drawing party. Or is it the live drawing party? That was sort of like mock profundity. It is Tuesday, April 14th, and it is 9 a.m. here in Arizona, and it is noon in my hometown of New York City. And I hope that things are nice wherever you are. It is spring, and at least here it is. For those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, it is autumn, which is also a beautiful season. But spring is abounding here in Phoenix, and there's just critters everywhere. And critters is what we're going to talk about today. Critters, nature, um, the larger world beyond us wretched, naked monkeys. Who else is out there? So if you have anything that evokes nature in your house that you'd like to draw today, go and get it. It could be a cat, it could be an onion, it could be a house plant, it could be, I don't know, your spouse, whatever it is that feels like nature. That's what I want us to contemplate today and just think about that. I'm glad that so many of you have joined me from all over, whether it's Michigan, Los Angeles, Giselle in France, and Esther in Switzerland, um, Tilly Trout in Norfolk in England, and Valentina in Sheffield, Danielle in sunny Mallorca. So many of you out there. It's so nice that you've joined me here to draw. So I wanted to first show you a little video that I made yesterday, which was a recording of a chat that I had with my friend Tommy Kane. Oh, you know what? Actually, before I continue, I want to talk about this. Sketchbookschool.com/Danny's list, Danny's hyphen list. It's a web page that you might be interested in going to. What it is a new thing that we've just set up, which is a sort of newsletter of sorts, where basically I get to indulge my desire to ramble in prose and to write about stuff. And if you go there and you put in your email address, I will send you periodically stuff that I think is on my mind or that might be of interest to you or that I've found. We're going to see. It's going to take form over time. I've written the very first one yesterday, and it's going to be available to you as soon as you click. I think it should work. Sketchbookschool.com/Danny's list. All right, enough about that. So I spoke to my friend Tommy Kane yesterday, and I wanted to just catch up with him. I talk to him periodically, but I decided I would share with you what we talked about. So we recorded a little bit of a chat, really, just to see how he's doing, what he's working on. Those of you who don't know Tommy Kane, he is one of my oldest and dearest friends. He's been involved with Sketchbook School since the very beginning. He is a former advertising art director, illustrator, beard grower, and little filmmaker, and various other things. He and I have made films together for a long time. And anyway, he's an interesting character, and he is great at drawing, and he's going to tell us a bit about what he's up to, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about nature, because I was inspired by this conversation, and perhaps you'll see why.
So has the quarantine affected you in any way?
It's weird. In some ways, not really, because I'm retired, so I don't really have work or something that I'm going to. And a lot of times it's just sort of, especially like in the winter, if it's like a cold week or two, I just sort of hang out anyway, like kind of drawing, reading. I'm always occupied. Like I give myself little assignments.
But like when it comes to drawing, like you like to go to life drawing classes, you like to draw at the Museum of Natural History, you like to.
Funny because I had this one life drawing class, this book, and then once I filled the book, I'm like, I kind of have to move on to something else. So I was really
Oh.
sort of done with it anyway. And then I was like, I kind of have to move to something else.
So what's your next project going to be now that you've filled that life drawing book?
Well, I don't know if I even told you, I have a new book coming out. It's
You do? A third book?
yeah. So the publisher, Joe, he contacted me and he goes, "Why don't you do a book of your vegan drawings?" Like, because they're
Right.
so incredible. So I kept telling him, like, I don't have enough. I can't fill a book, you know? So then one day I'm like, I can't be the only one doing this. So I started Googling online, and then I started to find globally that there are some very serious people in all kinds of kind of disciplines, photographers, you know, photojournalists, cartoonists,
Oh.
painters, you know, printmakers and stuff. So I started sending out feelers to them, and you know, maybe I approached like 30 and 23 or 24 agreed, you know.
No kidding. That's great.
Yeah, so I had them all write like a little thing. It's mostly visuals, you know. Um, so I spent a lot of time like designing it and getting other elements and things forward and writing. And so it was quite an endeavor. But this time, the publisher, they were like, "You want our designer to help you?" And I'm like, "Definitely," you know. She did a lot, you know, and the type and things. And I was like, wow, it's so amazing. Like, I really love it. So it'll be
great.
like a short run, maybe 1,500 books or something like that.
So what's it going to be called?
It's called Vegan Art, a book of visual protest. Like there's this one photographer, I'd always seen his work. New York Times would write about him, like, you know, and so he got a lot of play, and I'm like, oh, this guy would never do it. What he does is he shoots all these animals like in a barn. He shoots them all separately, perfect lighting. Then he puts it all together, and it's like they're all standing there, like 5 chickens, 2, 3 cows. It looks like this family portrait in barns and in fields, and even did a panoramic one of this guy's farm, and there was like 50 cows and 20 horses and you know, all the dogs, the chickens, and they're all just like posed. It looks perfect. So he agreed. So he's in it too. There's some interesting people.
That's a great idea. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. So when will it be out?
Well, it was probably going to come out around now, but you know, with everything that's happening, it's kind of been on hold a little. But it's physically done, and I think they even did the proofs and everything, so it's sort of ready to go. The hardest part is that being like, you know, being the producer. Contacting people, they send you like the thing, and it's like the image is this big, like, you know, it's like 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch, but 300 dpi. I told you, you know, and it's like, right.
Are they going to bring out like a special deluxe edition that's leather bound?
Yes, probably, yes.
That would be great.
Cow fur, you know, like slip case.
It's like a turducken where it's like turkey skin that goes into it. Well, now you got springtime. It's here. Yeah. You can start something new.
And it's funny because even my little animations, you know, they look cute and all, but they're quite time consuming.
Sure.
You know?
But that's what you like. You like things that are very intricate and complex.
Well, I'm not sure that I like it. I like when I'm done, but when I'm begin one, I'm just like, oh my God, this is like, what am I doing?
Well, I'm glad that you're doing well, and that hopefully you're still, are you actually drawing something though? Because you haven't quite answered that part of it.
Yes, no, I pretty much do a couple a week. I'm doing one now. I made a kind of animation the other day that I'll run whenever, but it was apolitical. It had nothing to do with anything or coronavirus. It was just silly. Because I've been doing some caricatures. I did like Hendrix, and you know, I did the guy from the new Pope, you know, the priest. So I was kind of getting back into that, just doing these kind of interesting, really intricate caricatures also.
Right. You used to do that so much years ago.
Yeah.
You also used to draw from the paper every day.
Yeah, it's funny because Mort Drucker just passed away, right? So then they were showing some of his work, and it's like, God, look at this. It's like I must have been six and just trying to copy him over and over and over. And when I looked at my thing, I go, all this is a slightly elaborate Mort Drucker. It's like if he was my dad, I would have just been, Mort the second.
It's hard to believe that Mad Magazine just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's bizarre.
Tommy Kane. Well, as Tommy mentioned, he is a vegan and he is a champion of animal rights. A couple of people asked if he had pets. He did. He used to have a couple of cats. I think one of them passed away 2 or 3 years ago. Anyway, his latest cat died, I think, within the last year. So they're petless right now. But nonetheless, he used to go to the Museum of Natural History a lot to draw animals there, and he's always producing brilliant work, which you can see on his um, on his Instagram. So anyway, follow him by all means. So today we're going to draw, or I've already actually started. Hopefully you did too. Started drawing in some form of nature that you've come up with. But if you need a bit of help, I wanted to show you a little film that is part of a course that I taught called How to Draw Without Talent. And this is a film that I made with my two dogs, Tim and Joe, also, alas, no longer with us. But this is just the basic how I'm teaching one of them to draw the other, and it has a few tips on how to draw animals. So if you need that, here, we'll look at this. Meanwhile, if you don't, keep drawing.
Hey, Danny, do you think you could teach me how to draw a dog? Like a realistic one, not a cartoon.
Okay, well, first we need a dog for a model.
A model, huh?
How about him? He'll do.
Hey, you want to get your picture drawn?
Okay. Do we get snacks?
Maybe.
Snacks.
Hold still, would you?
All right, so step one is we're going to start by drawing a line around the whole edge of them. And go slowly as you can. Pray that he won't get up and move around too much. See that little tuft of hair there? We're going to call that a landmark.
What's a landmark?
Yeah, it's like a spot on the outline that sticks out, like a foot or an ear or a tuft of hair or an angle or a bend or a toenail, whatever it is. Draw from one landmark to the next. Slowly. All right, there, done.
It looks like a sausage. Now what?
Okay, well, when you have the outline, now look for things inside the shape, like an eye or a nose or a patch of different colored fur. And look for landmarks on the outside edge to make sure that you're putting them in the right place. Like, you see this lump where his ear is? Like, that's right next to where his eye goes. Okay, next, let's draw the fur. But we don't want to draw every single hair, so we'll make up different kinds of marks that capture the feeling of the fur. I'm going to use lots of little circles and shapes. Put more marks on the darker parts to make him feel more three-dimensional.
Hey, he's moving. Stay still. You're ruining the drawing.
All right, already. I'm just uncomfortable.
All right, let's give him a minute to settle down. And then we're going to do a quick sketch of his new position, again, starting with an outline. If you make a mistake, just draw another line on top. Draw a detail like his face or a foot. You can also keep adding details to the first drawing, even if his position is a bit different. The outlines are going to help us to find where we were.
Wow. Could I do that?
You got to practice and take your time.
Okay.
Hey, that's pretty good. But you made my nose too big.
Now it's your turn.
I'm gonna do a selfie.
All right, there you have it. How to draw a dog without talent, or potentially without fingers. That was the real accomplishment there. So I'm drawing this dog that I met in Los Angeles. I think he was up for adoption, and he had this haunting look on his face. Maybe it's because he had one eye, but I've always wanted to draw him. I don't have any dogs here in the house to draw today. I did when we were staying with my sister and brother-in-law. They had a couple of good-looking dogs, but not here now. And the only thing I have, by the way, of pets is birds out in the yard, bees. There's some carpenter bees. Apparently, that's what they're called. These giant black bees that make an enormous noise, and they are huge. I mean, they are this size. They're crazy. In fact, yesterday I was doing yoga outside, and I managed to, just as I was getting ready to hit Shavasana and relax, I managed to throw my foot onto the grass beyond my mat, and I guess step on one. Didn't really think that's what I was doing, but he apparently thought that's what I was doing, and he bit me. Apparently they don't sting. That's what Jenny assures me, but it was not a pleasant ending to my session. Sorry, this whole thing is wobbling and wiggling too much because I'm doing so much cross hatching, and this camera is not happy about that. But anyway, so yeah, so let's keep drawing this guy. This is the critical moment. Putting in this other eye. I screw this up. I've ruined the entire drawing. Oh no. Sorry, dog. As if you didn't have troubles enough. Maybe he's not blind. I mean, the dog that we were staying with, an Australian sheepdog, had an eye kind of like this. She could see through it perfectly fine. So maybe he's not blind. This looks like a marble, doesn't it? Quite beautiful. There's like shapes within shapes inside of this iris here. In some ways, this is sort of a Tommy Kane style drawing. He loves these kind of intricately cross-hatched things. He can spend hours doing it. I do like to draw dogs, though. I don't know if you know this, but I did a whole series of dogs. I think I did 140 dogs when I first got my iPad. And every day I would do a different breed of dog, and I would do it in a different style, different kind of digital media that I would use, and it was really fun. I did cartoon dogs. I did dogs. I did a dog. I took the Monet's water lilies that he painted in Giverny, and I painted a fox terrier swimming across it, and it looked just like he had intended it to be there in the style of Monet. And I did so many dogs. I did dogs peeing and pooing. I did dogs' buttholes. I did dogs um, eating, being pathetic, being brave, driving vehicles. It was endless. It was endless and fun. In some ways, insulting to dogs, who are noble animals and don't deserve to be depicted, but they weren't actually all jokes. A lot of them were attempts to make nice art. You can see them on my Instagram if you're interested. They're still there somewhere in the distant past. Or you can see them in my class, How to Be an iPad Artist. This spring, we had planned to get a dog. It was definitely on the agenda now that it's been 18 months since Joe passed away. It's time to get a new dog. I don't know if that's going to happen on the schedule that we'd originally intended it to. But I think having a dog right now, I hear from a lot of my friends in New York that having a dog is like such an incredibly important part of their quarantine because, well, they have another companion, but also they get to walk him. It's like the one legitimate reason to go outside is to walk your dog. So that's nice. It's kind of become a cliche already. In this crisis, the dogs are the beneficiaries. They have people around them all the time. They get to walk a lot. They might be exhausted by it. I don't know. Enough already. Stop petting me. Dogs aren't like that, though. Dogs are always happy to get attention, I think. My experience. This dog has a really oversized collar. This is one of those drawings that would be very easy to do too much on. But I think what's nice about this kind of drawing is to not do too much and to leave a fair amount of the texture and stuff like that to the imagination of the viewer. And just indicate in certain parts what the fur is like, but not feel like you have to draw. And you know, you don't have to draw every hair, but sometimes it's nice to draw every hair in a certain part, you know. I'm drawing this with a Micron 03, which is a really nice pen. Sent to me by my art supply fairy. We can't thank enough. But I'm going to try to thank her enough. More than enough. Who knows? So Cynthia's asking what kind of dog we're going to get. It's been an ongoing point of debate. My wife Jenny, her previous dog was a pug, and she is a big fan of the pug. I've never really been in that close quarters with a pug, so I have nothing against them. I tend to favor snouted animals, like this guy. Snout is good, but I'm open to it. I mean, I've seen some attractive pugs. It's a noble breed, one of the oldest, I'm told. And I wonder if this guy is still available for adoption. Probably not. I'm sure by now. He's found a home, but I like this kind of dog too. Sort of vaguely Chihuahua-y. I see a lot of these kind of Chihuahua dogs on the West Coast here. What do you think? Is that enough? Yeah, we'll work on it some more later. Yeah, I'm reasonably pleased with that. That was quite nice. That was fun. It was certainly fun. I mean, it's nothing more calming. And all right, so let's answer some questions here. My dog's a poodle. How do I draw all those curls? Well, don't draw all those curls. Draw perhaps the outline shape of the whole body, and then indicate a few of the curls. That's what I would do. I've drawn poodles a few times, and they're like big, fluffy balls. So draw the edges, and then just hint and add a bit of weight to it. That's what I would do if I was drawing a poodle. Or draw just some part of him. Cynthia says, I have some pug friends who are passionate about their breed. I prefer snouted dogs too. Next time I'll get a smaller one. 100-pound dog? No. I've never gone above 35 pounds. The preppy crafty girl has a Chihuahua that was raised with kittens. It's slightly troubling. Does he use a cat box? Does he meow? I don't know if that's a good thing to do to a dog. The unknown person on Facebook tuning in from Hawaii. Fantastic. We just adopted a dog a couple of weeks ago, small, a mix of Shar-Pei and something much smaller. Adorable and always getting compliments when we're walking. She has been a great quarantine companion. That's so nice to have a new dog and to have a wrinkled dog, because a wrinkled dog, really fun to draw. Draw all those wrinkles. Wrinkly. You can start by practicing on me. I have jowls, I have wrinkles. Maybe you do too. Debbie's daughter has a sweet pug named Verity. Verity. Struth. Esther has a 90-pound golden retriever. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've lived in cities all the time that I can't imagine having a giant beast like that in the house. But they are very sweet dogs, and walking them, if they're well trained, is okay. But if they're not, it's a workout. That's what I found when we were walking this Australian sheepdog. It was like a complete upper body workout: arms, back, pecs. And then for some reason, carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. That could be nature. So, yes. So dogs are good. Birds are nice. As I mentioned to you yesterday, this hawk landed on the wire over there. was crazy. Oh, and then another thing, when I was outside doing yoga, as I mentioned before, there was a hummingbird, and that hummingbird was circling me. It was about 6 inches off the ground, and then of course I had that encounter with this carpenter bee. So nature was not really that happy with me being out there. It was sort of like, what, like, really? Could you go inside where you belong? Haven't you read the shelter inside orders? Um, but anyway, nature, as Tommy has reminded us, is crucial and important, and we don't do enough to protect it. He was also telling me about some unpleasant things that are going on with people getting the virus in places where they process meat and how scary that is. Another reason to be a vegan. I'm not a vegan. I respect him for being one. Um, and I know that a lot of you are vegans too. That's a perfectly fine thing to be. Uh, and maybe one day I'll be one, but I don't know. I find vegans to be painfully thin, and I enjoy my stout, rotund physique. I wouldn't want to lose it to a plate of Brussels sprouts. So, Janice has Havanese. Lucy and Ethel from Cuba. Cocker Spaniel, yeah, my mother had a Cocker Spaniel when she was a girl, and I once did a painting of it. They're sort of interesting. I don't know. I mean, I've generally, except for the wiener dogs that I had, I've only ever had mutts. And I don't really think of them as mixed breeds, but mutts and okay, so now voluptuous vegans are popping out of the ground to tell me, all right, yeah, you can eat French fries. I know a lot that seems to be often the go-to food. But yes, it is. It is. It is. Becky says the coolest thing about these live parties is that you don't plan on art, and then it's there. Then it's there. Yeah, I like that idea. So, well, listen, guys. I hope that you're going to share these. Let me put up the hashtag, the obligatory hashtag, which uh, is it SBS Drawing Party? I believe that's it. So, uh, SBS Drawing Party, I think that's correct. And let me put it up here on the screen so you can see it, not as a mustache, but hashtag SBS Drawing Party. So I want you to share those things with me so I can see them. I also hope that you will consider joining this list of mine so that I can send you some stuff. The stuff that I'm writing that I don't feel like necessarily putting on my own blog anymore. I don't feel like starting that up. I feel like doing something else in another form. So I've written a lot of things and I want to share them with you. So this seems to be a way of doing it. I was going to make them into videos, but I just don't have the gear for it here. So maybe one day I will make some of them into it. What else? Oh, and of course, we have Kosha's workshop coming up, which is Kosha's Killer Sketchbook Filler, which is going to be a really fun workshop that is coming up in a week and a half. I've gone over it in detail and I know all about it now, and I have to say it's amazing. It's really, really fun. It's going to be like the most action-packed 2 hours of your life, making huge amounts of stuff. So anyway, do I have any new books in the works? I'm just trying to survive. No, I don't have any books in the works. My last book, How to Draw Without Talent, was such a painful experience for me that I don't know when I'm going to write another book, honestly. But I've written 13 of them, so if you've read them all, let me know, and I'll try and come up with something for you. But no, this list I think will be nice. I think it will be something. It will be an opportunity for me to spew words in a different form, in the written form, and it will be something that you can read and delete, just in case you're not getting enough email. I promise I won't write a lot of it. All right. PJ has Loki and Thor, Chihuahua, and what is a Ratcha? Is that like Ratcha? What could Ratcha mean? Ratcha? Like Feist? Ratter? I don't know. Well, all right, guys, I've wasted enough of your time. Go off and continue drawing nature. I'm going to continue working on this thing, and I'll maybe share it with you somewhere in the schoolyard, or maybe tomorrow. Maybe at some point we can. I could share a bunch of work that people have done. That could be fun. I could show a bunch of different things. And by the way, thank you all so much for sharing ideas with me yesterday of what you'd like to do in the future. This nature one that I threw together was inspired by Tommy Kane, but somebody else had an interesting idea, which was to draw from a feed coming from a zoo, like a live internet feed. I've never even looked at that, but that could be interesting, a little terrifying, um, in a sort of Tiger King kind of way, but hopefully not. But there were lots and lots of great ideas, and if you have any more, please share them with me, because it would be great. And frankly, I'm kind of lazy, and this would be an opportunity for you to do some of the work, coming up with ideas. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow, Wednesday at noon, New York time. See, I'm still sentimental about the fact that and I call it noon New York time, even though I'm not in New York and it's not noon. But anyway, we'll do some more stuff. Mugshots. A couple of you mentioned that. We did only one of the mugshots yesterday. I posted three photos, and I have scads more, so we could do that again. That could be fun. But I don't want to get into the jag of just drawing from photos. Honestly, it's okay, but I'd like to do some more contemplative stuff too. So we'll try that. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I had a whole mask thing, but my wife has told me that it's inappropriate. But I might do it anyway. She's not watching, so anyway, see you all next time, and thanks for drawing with me today.